Now, Jess, we've talked a lot about the failure rate of new agents, which probably make many real estate principals think if only I could get some experienced agents into the business. But being able to shift and experienced agents from one business to another sounds like a tricky task.
Absolutely, yeah. I think about, we call it the Recruitment Upgrade, one of our systems, and we talk with leaders about, is thinking about from a high level perspective first. There's a couple of core components to think about, and we have a saying, we talk about 1 in 3 marriages will fail. So what I mean by that is if you look at your competition, and you might look at a business who, let's say their market share is a bit higher than yours, so they're perceived to be a better business, and there's a high performer in that business. Most business leaders will make the mistake of thinking, well, that person's not gettable. But let me tell you, 1 in 3 marriages fail. So those people are going to move at some point. So we talk about the process of a 12-month plan, or longer, to be honest, of how we're going to instill a system to build trust, communication with those types of people, where we're not just sitting down saying, hey, can you want to have a coffee? Do you want to come and join my business? When the answer is probably going to be no, and there's nowhere to go from that point. So inside the Recruitment Upgrade system, we teach a whole process of how to go through that.
I love it. Sounds sneaky. Tell me a little bit about this approach and some of the top tier sort of ideas.
Yeah. Well, I think the first piece is, we call it like reverse engineering. Think about it like if you were to sit down with a prospect and you'd ask him questions, or he was to ask you questions about your business. How's your culture? What is your database systems like? How would you answer those questions? And I say to the leader all the time, what you think about if you put on the spot and someone was to ask you 5 questions about your business, your database, your vendor management, your culture, how would you answer? And so you've got to get clear on your own offerings first. And if you're not clear on that, your ability to then recruit is going to be really low. So we look at that in terms of the communication point. We also take leaders through what I call probing and relating based questions to how to communicate with potential prospects as well. That's a big part of it. And like I mentioned before, we try and get them to act as if they're number one. Because if your business is 2nd, 3rd or 4th ranked business in your core market, you got to act as if you're number one when you're recruiting. So what that looks like, how many hours per week are you putting into recruitment? How many people are you following up? How many people are you going to visit at open homes? How many people do you have on a communication plan? So we get them to act as if they're number one, and then to be able to build a process that's not going to happen overnight. We've got to keep consistent at it.
It's amazing. It's so, consistency is definitely the theme of these case studies that you're giving me, but I had no idea that the consistency was so important across recruiting top talent as well as recruiting your next listing. Have you got an example for us, someone that has implemented this? Give us an idea of what happened before, what they looked like before, and how things have changed for them.
Yeah, so one of our clients, and we mentioned in another one of our case studies, so Harrison Estate Agents across in there in actually Hobart. There were 2 businesses, one in Hobart. We went on they had a new leader that came in, and we went on a real journey of making sure they understood that Recruitment Upgrade system first. So I talk about first that when we sat down with them, let's build a dream team. So the dream team is, let's look at our competition, and let's look at PAs, sales agents, property managers, all the people that maybe would like to have. So we build out the dream team, and then we start to build out the plan. And there's a few other components of the system, but what's happened over there is slowly but surely, they're starting to now recruit people wanting to come to their business. And I think they've had now 3 people join in the past couple of months who've come from experience from competition. And I believe it's as a result of the bigger part that I spoke about earlier, is when the conversations are happening with these prospects, they're able to clearly identify what their offering is internally. So we've really worked hard on making sure they understand what that looks like, from culture to database system we spoke about earlier. So then when they're sitting down with the prospects, it comes out and the people understand what that looks like, because they know, we talk about 1 in 3 marriages failing. If they haven't got good systems and good offerings where they are, they're slowly but surely going to start to see that maybe that they're going to be elsewhere, and hopefully in your business.
What I'm learning so much is just how important, really, in all of this, you're really teaching your principals and your agents how to communicate effectively and how to break down the sales process, not just when they're talking to potential clients, but also the sales process internally to themselves, to their core team members. It's all just a journey of breaking things down into its component parts, by the sounds.
It is. And as a leader, when I talk about how to think about this initially, my first question to a leader is, look back at your last 7 days in your business and ask yourself, how many hours did you spend working on your business, and how many hours did you spend working in your business? So for me, what that looks like on your business is recruitment. In your business is going out, sitting in people's lounge rooms, listing and selling. You've got to get that balance. Now, if it's not where you want it to be right now, give yourself a plan in the next 6 to 12 months to change the scale. And I think that's what we look at, is let's start to get you to spend more time working on your business as opposed to in it. And the recruitment part is a key component of that. And then it's looking at how many hours per week are you going to spend on recruitment of experienced people in this recruitment upgrade? And it might be looking at the other component we talk about is 18 months of success.
Absolutely. And so for Harrison's, what was their biggest surprise in the whole journey? Like, what was something that kind of, gave them a bit of a slap around the face and went,
Well, the turnover first hurts. So the turnover when you're constantly going in, and we do an assessment to a new client that comes into our program. One of the assessment processes is looking at what's your turnover rate. So how many people have left you and gone to your competition. So we need to look at that part first, and then from them it's about going the journey and talk about consistency. What does a plan look like? It's like we spoke about one of our other case studies is like a business blueprint. This is like a business blueprint for recruitment. So when we check in with ourselves at the end of every month and we're looking at our business plan, if you're looking at that component, how well has that worked? How many conversations did you have? Regardless of whether they've turned into an outcome, how many conversations have you had? How many opens have you visited? How many SMSs have you sent to potential recruits? Because as I keep mentioning, is that the bigger part of this, 1 in 3 marriages fail. So if you stop doing the work, you're going to miss that opportunity when it comes up in 6 months' time.